pledge allegiance, and a moment of silence first. Stand.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Okay, we got matters from the floor. Do we have any speakers lined up for tonight? One. Ms. Tab, is that correct? Do you want to come forward? And you can state your name and your address, and then you'll have 3 minutes to voice your concern. Thank you.
LaShella Tab, 25 Melissa Lane, Lynchburg, Virginia, 24502. I'm coming tonight because of my children' education at Brookville Middle School. We were new to the county last year, and I've been going through the same process with the school. No teachers communicating, reaching out about grades or missing work. And I've been fighting back and forth and no help. I finally reached out to the administrative office a couple of weeks ago, and we've been having a couple of meetings. But the teachers are not fulfilling their duties as teachers for our students as with their education. I have no communication with them. They don't reach out. They're failing my children. Well, children in general. I don't know how many other children, but this is unfair, and no child should be left behind. So I had a meeting with the school today, which this is my second meeting, which of all so many that I've had already, where I asked them about the accountability of the teachers and how they were, I guess, graded or evaluated. And they told me that it takes where they get evaluated every 3 years. Okay, but is that enough for our children? How do we help them in the process? My children are in classes that they don't get study guides, they don't have a book. So how do they study? How do they study for tests? I'm reaching out to teachers. I get, like I said, no communication, or either they give me something, but they don't give me all the information. So how are my children to complete their work if they still have things that are missing? I mean, it needs to be better. And I've been fighting for this for the last 2 years. I'm new to Campbell County, and my children have never had to deal with anything like this before, ever. And it's sad. And I'm very upset. And the school sees me regularly, almost every day. Because like I said, I'm fighting for my children. I want their work to be turned in. I want them to be able to learn like everybody else. But they can't if they're not given all the tools to learn, and that the teachers are not dedicated enough to make sure that they get what they need. So that's all that I have to say.
All right, well, thanks for coming out and
Thank
sharing
you.
this evening.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about it with administration and be
Okay.
back in touch. So,
I appreciate it.
thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
I think so, I'm not sure.
Have you got approval of the February 9th meeting minutes? Need a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any comment on the meeting minutes? No. Not all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And none, motion passes. And then we also have the approval of the January 13th, 2026 joint board meeting minutes. Need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion, any comments, concerns?
Just thought it was a good meeting, and I'm glad that we get together.
All right, thank you, Mr. Maddox. Any others? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Got payment of the bills. Anyone that's reviewed and make a motion on payment of the bills?
That's Noah Berry, isn't it?
Mr. Chairman, I reviewed the bills and make a motion that we approve them as presented.
Got a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any comments, concerns in regard to the bills? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And motion carries. Acceptance of donations, Ms. McClanahan.
Tonight you have a list of donations for approval. Unless you have any questions on those, I ask that you approve them as presented.
Motion.
Second.
All right, motion and second. Any comment, concerns in regards to donations?
One comment I have is thank you. Thank you to all of our county businesses that are stepping up and helping our schools. Much appreciated.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bierman. Anybody else? Okay, all those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none. Carries. Consideration for non-resident tuition, Ms. McClanahan.
Tonight you have a list of students for approval as non-resident. Unless you have any questions, I'd ask that you approve that as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any concerns, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Let's also have consideration of supplemental apportionments, Ms. McClanahan.
You have two for approval tonight. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I request approval.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any comments, concerns about the appropriations? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Got the consideration of personnel report. Ms. Hunley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. You have a somewhat lengthy personnel report in front of you this evening. Our principals are busy hiring for next year. We have hired about 15 people already for next school year. Around 8 of those came from our job fair, so we're still moving on those. And then we still have about 25 openings for next year, so they're still working, but they have done a number of hires already for next year. So unless you have any questions, I'd ask that you approve it as written.
Dr. Ranella. How we doing on bus drivers?
Sir, we are 8 full-time, part-time people remaining short. We've got a couple that are getting ready to leave us for various reasons in the upcoming weeks, probably a month or so.
Do you have a class coming up, or?
We just finished a class. We got through the snow, so probably about 3 weeks ago, sir, we finished a class. And in that class, we have 3 people that were aides of ours. That are in the process of getting their CDL, so we're trying to roll our own with
Good,
that
thank you.
process. You're welcome, sir.
Nice.
I also wanted to re-point out, and for Mr. Pierman's benefit, the teachers on the personnel report with asterisks by their names are our Campbell County graduates. So there are 4 on there as well.
Thank you for that.
All right. Get a motion and a second on personnel report if we don't have any other discussion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Hunley.
Thank you. And now that it's official, I did want to point out that Mr. Bobby Markey is in the audience. He was just approved to become the new assistant principal at Brookville High School. He's very excited. Mr. Markey has been with us for a long time and certainly exudes Brookville pride. So we're excited to have him.
And you wore the right color shirt tonight, so it's great.
Being dressed for the part.
Congratulations. Yep. All right, we got consideration of special education annual plan. Dr. McCormick.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Stanley, members of the board. I'm here this evening to present to you the Special Education Annual Plan application for funding, which you have attached in your board docs. It's not working. There we go. So the purpose of the Special Education Annual Plan is to assure that all children with disabilities have available to them a free, appropriate public education. The application actually serves as a formal agreement between our school division and the Department of Education to implement regulations governing special education services. The plan is a three-part series. The first part includes presentation to our Special Education Advisory Committee. This was completed at our February 9th SEAC meeting. The next component is submitting this for your approval. And then finally, once it's approved by the board, we will submit it to the Virginia Department of Education for approval. Upon their approval, award amounts are released to us, which would be anticipated sometime this summer. To give you a reference point of how our funds are calculated, this is our December 1 snapshot. Based on the data, we are serving 1,268 students with disabilities. This is approximately 21 more students than we served the previous year. In breaking the numbers down a bit more, this allows you to see the disability categories and the number of students that we serve in each disability category. As you can continue to see, we see growth in the categories of OHI or other health impairment, autism represented by AUT, and speech language impairment represented on the chart by SLI. The annual plan is actually made up of 8 different sections. I will go through each of these sections to explain what those are. The first section is an assurances section. Campbell County must certify that we do not have any barriers that would impact the implementation of special education programs. It seeks to ensure full participation of students, teachers, and other program beneficiaries with special needs in designing the federally assisted projects or activities. In ensuring that we do not have these barriers, we have to examine our mission and vision, which aligns with us not having barriers. Our mission is to enable every student to choose and pursue any post-K-12 endeavor. The next section is our special education in local and regional jails. We do have a facility in our division, and so we are required to complete this section of the application. Individuals who are students from age 18 to 22 with a disability who have not graduated with a standard diploma and are detained for more than 10 days in this facility are eligible to receive services from us. The third section is the implementation of the previous year's plan. Our previous year's plan was implemented with fidelity and used to pay salary and benefits for special education staff. The fourth section is what is called maintenance of effort. Maintenance of effort requires that the division spend at least the same amount in local and state funds as the previous year for students with disabilities. The first section of this is making sure that we are budgeting to meet maintenance of effort, and I have worked with our finance department to ensure that we are budgeting for this. Our budget of total local and state expenditures for the 26-27 year is projected to be around $14.6 million. The fifth section is Comprehensive Coordinated Early Intervening Services, or CCEIS. And what this is a requirement that if we are showing disproportionality, we then have to set aside 15% of our federal funds to try to address this. At this time, Campbell County is not required to set aside this 15% of funds as we are not disproportionate. The sixth section is the proportionate set aside. This funding requires Campbell County to set aside funding based on the numbers of parentally placed private school students along with homeschooled students who are identified with disabilities under IDEA. Our projected set-aside amount for the upcoming school year is $96,000. The final 2 components of the application are the components where you will see funding amounts attached to them. Section 611 are flow-through federal funds to be used for school-aged programs for students identified as having a disability. These funds are used to pay salaries and benefits for 20 full-time special education teachers, 2 specialists, and 6 special education teaching assistants. The 619 funds are used to help fund special education preschool programs. In Campbell County, these are known as our Early Childhood Special Education Programs, or ECSE. Campbell County uses these funds to pay for 1 full-time early childhood special education teacher. It is important to note that the amount that we receive for this does not cover the full salary and benefits of this teacher, and therefore we're required to use local or state funds to pay the remainder of her salary and benefits. This slide simply gives you an overview of our funding. Section 619 remained consistent while there was a slight drop in Section 611 funding. As a reminder, it's important to remember that this plan application is only addressing our federal funding. Local and state funds are also used to meet the required needs of our students with disabilities attending Campbell County Public Schools. And again, maintenance of effort requires us to spend at least as much in state and local funds as we did in the previous school year. To end on a positive note, I would like to highlight the work of our students, their families, our teachers, related service providers, and administration. For our overall local determination on our annual performance report, Campbell County School received 36 of 40 possible points. This gave us the local determination of meets requirement, which is the highest rating in this standard. And so I'm very proud of all of the hard work that all of our students, teachers, and their families are continuing to do. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have regarding the plan, but I would ask that you approve it as presented.
Well, it sounds like you guys have did an outstanding job, and meets requirements is somewhat anticlimactic for
It is, but we'll take it.
It sounds like you're just kind of mundane,
Yes.
but that's great.
Yes.
Any questions for Dr. McCormick in relation to the report?
Do we have a lot of kids in jail?
No, not presently.
I mean, over the past 3 or 4 years?
Not over the past 3 years. If you go back about 5 years, we served several students per year, but not in the past 3 years.
Okay, thank you.
Any others? All right, Dr. McCormick, so we've got the report, all those in favor, or got to take a motion first. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, consideration of religious exemptions. Dr. Wilson.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Stanley, members of the board. We have one request for religious exemption for your consideration this evening. If there are no questions, I would ask that you approve it as presented.
Motion.
Second. Motion and a second. Any questions, concerns? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. All right, Dr. Stanley, you're up. Consideration for authorization of superintendent to sign easements.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. About a week ago, I had a representative from VDOT approach me about a project over in the Brookville area, which is exciting. I think everybody I've talked to said this has been a long time coming. I've given you an aerial photo of the area, and what VDOT is looking to do is add a sidewalk at the top of your page there. You can see it's kind of at the top of on the high side or the far side on Laxton Road, and it will go from Timberlake Road all the way down to Windhurst, which again is very nice. You can also see that there will be a crosswalk at the intersection of B Drive and Laxton Road, and there'll be also a crosswalk crossing B Drive, which will have pedestrian lights, and then the sidewalk will come all the way down in front of Brookville Middle School, pretty much down to a point in front of Tomahawk. So we're very excited about the sidewalks. Again, we think they're needed. Part of their request to us is for some easements. They've got approximately 4 temporary easements that they're requesting that would just be used during this construction phase. And then they've got 3 permanent easements that they would like for us to grant that would give them the ability to maintain the slope of the banks there and drainage off the sidewalks. I've shared the contract with Mr. Hawkins. He said it is a typical VDOT easement contract. He said as long as it doesn't impact your operations or impact the value of your property, which none of this does. As a matter of fact, the sidewalks would probably look better aesthetically and increase the value. So tonight, I'm looking for your permission to move forward with these easements. We do have 3 trees that are on B Drive. You see one up near the softball field and 2 that are right in front of the school. Those trees would have to be taken down. And then there's a section of fence that's up on Laxton that they would probably take down while they're doing the work. In return for the easements, they're offering us $16,000, a little more.
Can you point out the, maybe difficulty,
Yep.
permanent easement?
Yep, I'm happy to.
It'd be easier on the one behind you.
Maybe. So the permanent easements would be the one, I guess that's in a brighter yellowish. That would be one permanent easement here. There would be one long permanent easement right along the sidewalk going down B Drive. And then this would be a permanent easement. This is a bank that slopes down, and that's why they would like to have that, so they can maintain that bank and make sure they have appropriate drainage. These, in a orangey color, darker color, would all be temporary, only used during construction phase.
Okay.
They're estimating work beginning in the summer of '27 and continuing for approximately a year. Obviously, they don't want to interfere with school, so a lot of that work in front of the Brookfield Middle School will take place during the summer. Again, they don't want to interfere with our operations, but there will be a lot of construction out there. However, I think our Brookfield community is getting used to it and used to being patient.
And the crosswalk light, so that'll be tied into the existing traffic lights. I just want to make sure.
Correct. So kids will be able to go up in there and have the button to push, and it should make for a much safer crossing for them.
And you've got 2 up top and there's one at the bottom there as well? Is that right? Or
In
what's-
terms of crosswalks, yes,
Yeah.
sir, but there's only 2 of the pedestrian lights going on, going in up near Laxton and B Drive.
So the bottom is just a crosswalk?
That's right.
not-
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Well, you don't know the total value of this project, do you?
I do not.
I guess they ain't put it up for bid yet. All right, thank you.
So tonight, I'm looking for your authorization to move forward.
All right, anybody else have any questions for Dr. Stanley in regards to the easement sidewalk? Ready?
How
So
can
there's
you
no
turn
way-
down safety?
There's no place where the sidewalks on both sides of the road. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right.
Mr. Maddox, you have something?
I just said, how can you turn down
Right.
safety? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great plan.
All right, I ask for a motion and a second.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we got weapons detection, Dr. Ranella.
Sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right, good evening, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Stanley, members of the board. I'm here tonight to share some information with you regarding the homework that we have done regarding weapons detection systems and how that could possibly impact the school division. I think it's imperative to continue the narrative that Campbell County has safe schools, and we will continue to have safe schools. But we also know that school security and school student safety is an ever-evolving topic, and so we looked into what the potential of what that would look like to have weapons detection systems within our division. You know, whether it's the Department of Homeland Security, the National Association of School Resource Officers, they all recommend that having a layered security strategy to your schools is the best option. And we have that. So before I dive into some of the research that we have done, I think it's important also to articulate what do we have in place here already that keeps our students and our staff safe. First and foremost, our SROs. You look at any sort of research that is out there, one of the main deterrents or one of the main benefits of having SROs is they keep the school community safe. Because without a doubt, Captain Lawhorn, Lieutenant, we're at our senior staff this morning. We were talking about and debriefing on our drills. We were talking about tornado systems and what do we do when these emergencies come up. So we have a strong relationship and we'll continue to have a strong relationship with our SROs. Other things that we have in place, we've got a visitor management system that checks in all the visitors that come into the schools, the Raptor system. We have threat assessment teams. My first year here, we adopted the standard response protocol. That was a year before it was adopted across the Commonwealth that we have used and have been in practice now for this is the 4th year. We're in the process of updating our access control system, Galaxy. We've got 6 schools that are on board now, and we'll continue to knock out those other schools incrementally as grant funds allow. We've updated our digital communication systems, that's our radio systems. We've expanded our camera capacity, so the infrastructure was the cameras. As we continue to add cameras, we had to add hardware behind the scenes to deal with those upgrades, and we have spent tens of thousands of dollars grant money in doing that. We're in the process of continuing of installing ballistic films across the division. We have handheld wand detectors, and we also have vape sensors. That's just a list of the things that we already have in place that ensure that these students and staff are safe. So the objective when we started to look at weapons detection system was pretty simple. We wanted to find a system that detected firearms and weapons before they got into the schools. It had to integrate with existing programs and protocols and systems that we already have. It had to have an efficient flow rate. You can't have students standing outside for 20, 30 minutes waiting to get into school as they go through whatever process they would have to go through to get into the building. It would have to have minimized disruption to the school day. Additional criteria was the accuracy and the flexibility of the system was important to us. It had to be ADA accessible. You also had costs. You have initial costs and you're going to have reoccurring costs, and the maintenance of the programs, or the maintenance of the systems. Your primary companies out there are several, Evolve Technology, CHEA, and Garrett Metal Detectors. Kind of sets the tone a little bit. What did we do in terms of practical research and theoretical research? Well, back in, it was right after Thanksgiving, Dr. Wilson and myself took a little bit of a trip, and we went down and we visited Halifax County Schools. Halifax County Schools currently uses the Evolve weapons detection system. That weapons detection system in Halifax County High School, well, Halifax has about 1,000 students, by the way, so it's very comparable to Brookville High School. So you've got 1,000 students down there. They use the Evolve Technology weapons detection system. They outsource who runs that system. Let me be very clear about that. Halifax County employees do not run that. They contract with a private agency to run that system. That day that we were there, with Dr. Wilson and I were there, we probably saw a half dozen individuals of that company, of that agency that ran the system. We met with Michael Lewis, who's the Director of Student Services. He was very accommodating, very nice, and showed us basically how the system ran, but they outsource it and who runs it. The Evolve system is rather expensive. They funded that system through COVID grant money at that point in time. So several years ago, they designated some money towards that system, and they implemented that system.
Dr. Rinella?
Sir?
So is that the camera system that detects weapons through a camera system, or is that?
No, they have it is basically you pass through 2 towers.
Okay, so that is a metal detector?
Yes.
Just in the front entrance? Okay.
Yes, they do it, they've got 4. So they've got a pair at the front entrance, and they've got a pair at the bus route arrival area.
Okay. All right.
Okay? We also went up and we took a visit to Amherst County High School. Dr. Wilson, myself, Dr. Shields visited up there. Dr. Stanley had the opportunity to go up there and talk to Dr. Hoden and the principal at Amherst High School. Amherst High School uses the open gate system, which is a tower system, similar to what Halifax has. You enter through, students enter through, and then if it detects something, the system goes off and alerts you, and then you go through procedures and protocol with that. That open gate system for Amherst High School, and Amherst has about 1,000 students as well, very comparable to Brookville, is they have 4 of them. They have 2 at the front entrance, and they got 2 at the rear entrance. The reason that why that number is because of the flow rate. You can get about 300, with the open gate system, you can get about 300 students in through one system, roughly in 10 to 12 minutes. So you have 2 at the front where people come in, and they have 2 at their bus entrance, their bus drop-off area as well. Amherst does not outsource who runs these systems. Their teachers run the systems. So Dr. Crawford, the principal at Amherst High School, has trained, recruited, retained, I guess if you want to say. I think he said 16 to 17 staff that run those systems. Each system, you have to have 3 people to run it, okay? The administrators are not running the system. The administrators have close proximity to the systems, and if it comes up to where a situation requires it, they're going to be dealing with the search of the student in a discreet way and go through their protocols, if you would. We also had a demo with all of our principals, high school principals, let me clarify, with our high school principals on the open gate system. We also had central office staff that participated in the webinar. So they showed us, the open gate people showed us, this is what the system does, this is what it looks like, this is how you set it up, the ins and outs of the system, if you would. We did that several weeks ago.
Can you very briefly tell us what's involved in running this system?
To be honest with you, not much is involved in running the system. You know, the towers are portable, they're very light, they're battery operated, and they run on a charge. I think Dr. Crawford said it can go about 4 days until he has to recharge them, but he recharges them every day. And they have different settings on it, so it can be as sensitive as you want it to be. What was one of the examples that the company used was excuse me, I don't know the correct term, but whatever women use for their eyes. It's like a metal thing they put on their eyes for makeup, right? It could. Thank you very much. It could be as sensitive to pick up something like that, vape sensors, etc., or it could be also dialed into strictly looking for metal, for weapons. And Dr. Crawford showed us what that is. But essentially what you have, Barry, you would have students would flow through, they would go through that process. It does pick up on their laptops. So what the student would have to do, they would have to, not very dissimilar to what you would do with a TSA. You put something in a box. They wouldn't put something in a box or a bin. They would hand that around, and they would go through the system. If the system gets alerted, that's when an administrator gets involved, and they go over to X area, designated area, and they conduct a search. Yes, ma'am?
How many students can go through the towers at a time?
You, one at a time,
Okay.
but you get about 300 in a system. You can get 300 students through one system, one tower system.
I'm picturing a
in
TSA
10 minutes.
line.
Yeah,
Okay.
in 10 minutes.
So can I
Please.
make a few comments? So what we saw is that laptops have to be handed around the tower. And there are certain things, certain items such as metal eyeglass cases, or you've seen the little canisters for Altoids, things like that. They always set it off for whatever reason. So you have to kind of practice with kids ahead of time, make sure they understand these aren't things you want to bring through because it will set the alarm off. But the laptops too have to be handed around and safely, hopefully, because Obviously, if you're handing laptops around with one hand, at some point, they're gonna hit the floor. So that takes people. I mean, I think that's, somebody's gotta be there.
So have y'all seen a system that comes with a conveyor to where you don't have to manually hand the stuff around? You can just set your laptop on a conveyor, it takes it to the other side, you walk through, and then you pick it up and go. And that way you don't have to have this handoff thing going on constantly.
Yeah, I don't think it was Amherst, I think it was Heritage that was on the news recently, and they just have a table with a plastic bucket, and they just put it in and just slide it down the table. So
Yeah.
we can, we can be that basic.
Mr. Phillips, I looked at those in research. I have not physically put eyes on one. I've looked at those in research. I think everything has unintended consequences, correct? And with that conveyor belt system, there was, you got to have some space to do that. And so some things in your infrastructure to be able to handle something like that. We also, and I apologize for not mentioning this, we also researched, the name of the company skips me, so I apologize, I can get that to you, but we researched AI technology in weapons detection. And that was a webinar that Dr. Wilson did with myself, Mr. Hudson, IT director. We looked at that system. Super nice, super expensive. You're close to 7 figures to doing that, largely because it is, we would have to do some significant upgrades to our cameras and to our infrastructure to be able to do that. Is it going in that direction? Probably. Is that technology emerging right now? Yes, it is. But I think with anything that comes out right away, it's going to be a little bit more expensive on the front end with that because it's all cloud-based, and the stuff that we have right now is not cloud-based. That particular system and that company that we spoke to.
So you mentioned the Evolve system was a bit more expensive, and that was not run in-house. So that's monitored remotely, or they're paid employee, paid people on staff with Evolve that are stationed?
The best that I can answer that, Mr. Pierman, is that where I went, in Halifax, and Lynchburg City is similar. They contract with Pierman Security Company.
Totally ran by them.
Totally ran by them, funded by you. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
What do they do for child's tardy? Do they wand them or?
That's something you got to figure out. Yes, sir. That is a big consideration. We just had follow-up conversation with Dr. Crawford up at Amherst because they rolled the system out in December, so they're very new to it and still working out the kinks with it all. And that's something he's also working out as well. What do you do with your late arrivals? What do you do with the people that come in from the governor's school midday, et cetera, et cetera? Yes, that would something that would have to be thought through and considered.
Yeah, because it's hard to staff it the whole day.
Yes. And I'll say this in closing, and I will answer any questions for you, whether now directly or you can email them to me. If I may suggest, you have to look at it in 2 different lenses. You got a philosophical lens with it. Everyone sitting in this room wants to keep our kids and our students and community safe, right? So philosophically, we're all good with it. You really got to consider the logistics of it. As a board, you have to consider the logistics of it, and probably a little bit philosophically, what does that look like inside of your buildings? Because it's different. It's a different look and it's a different feel.
I think we could say we talked to our secondary principals about it, and honestly, their reactions were a little bit mixed. I mean, some thought during the school day was priority. Some thought that if we could do it at after-school activities and ball games, that would be a priority. But of course, everybody's got concern of staffing it. Okay, so if you do it at ball games, how many more people do you have to have working a ball game? If you do it during the school day, how many more people do you have to have on duty? So just things to take into consideration. And then even with the towers, there's it's a cost. I mean, I think we cost out was for 12 units, 2 per secondary school, would run approximately $280-some thousand. And that's probably not enough. I mean, you would need more than 2 towers. You'd probably need 4 at Brookville High.
Yes, sir.
You'd probably need 4 at all of our schools. So you could
Minimal.
probably double that.
An example of the logistics thing is, how do you handle baseball games at Alta Vista? How do you handle softball games at Brookville?
Correct.
You know, I'm not saying there's not answers to that. I'm just saying that's, if it's the board's pleasure, that would be the next bit of work that you'd have to do, is digest that and figure out how you're gonna pull that off.
So what we were thinking tonight is we would just present you this information and then circle back to kind of see what your thoughts were in terms of moving forward. And if you have any questions between now and then, feel free to reach out to myself or Dr. Ranella to answer questions.
If a system costs, say, $5 million, how much grant money is available to secure for kids? None? Zero?
No,
That's what you're laughing at.
the school equipment and security grant that we get through DCJS is maxed out, I want to say, at $220,000 with a local match. And there's no, I don't want to say it's arbitrary, because we apply and we put in variables and information of why we think we need certain things, but we're not always guaranteed that. That's not something we can count on every year. That fluctuates. In the several years I've done this job, that fluctuates. Sometimes we're like, ooh, we got 200,000, and there's been years where we've gotten 70 or 80,000. So
Something that I would recommend as you're thinking about it, maybe talk to your administrators. I think that would be a good thing.
But you know, you need them in elementary school too, because you got kids coming in with a gun for show and tell. I mean,
I don't disagree.
Mr. Lawhorn, you got any comments? Come on.
Yes, sir.
God, dang.
Yeah, tough decision ahead of you.
Yeah, I would say my opinion, not getting into too many details, but, I mean, you mentioned sporting events. I would like to try to just get them functional and come up with the plan for the school day, for the academic day, and then after we get the bugs worked out of that, then we can figure out how to move that, you know, to the athletic events after school and staff that up as needed. But I think the first priority, in my opinion, is getting them in the schools we want to get them in, and then move forward from there. But, yeah, we'll look over the information you got us so far and talk to some people and maybe circle back. What kind of timeline are you thinking to circle back with us on? A month, 2 months?
I would say a month.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else on the board have any comments while we have Dr. Ranella here?
Well, first of all, I appreciate the presentation, Dr. Ranella. Secondly, of course, should be really first, of course, the safety of our children. That's definitely very important. So we need to take a hard look at what we need to do to implement this, in my opinion. Of course, logistics, cost, application, all very important. So we've got to get that figured out. So that'll be our next steps.
Understood.
Anybody else? All right, thanks, Dr. Ranella.
Thank you, Mr.
Appreciate
Chairman.
it.
Thank
Yep.
you.
You're welcome.
Next up, Dr. Stanley, got a draft of the 26-27 budget.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and I want to thank Michelle and her team for all the hard work they put into creating this budget. As we get into it, I'll start by saying that one of the biggest challenges for us this year and going into next year has been dealing with declining ADM. You've heard me mention that before. You know, all of our funds and revenues are based on the number of kids that we have, and we've lost quite a few, as has every, I think, public school in the state of Virginia. Every superintendent that I've talked to is dealing with the same issues with that. And so I will say that, to begin with, that has impacted us this year, okay? Our operating budget coming down the wire in March, April, May is going to be tight, okay? And I've already told our principals that, you know, in years past where I've said, you know, what kind of big ticket items do you have? Maybe I can purchase some things down the stretch. I don't have that luxury this year, and even our reimbursements We reimburse for a lot of things when it comes to athletics. May look a little different this year because it's tight. Whenever you have decreasing revenue and increasing cost, at some point, you hit a point where it's tight, so it's tight. And one thing, if you could go on to the next slide, in the caboose budget, our governor did have a $1,500 one-time bonus for all SOQ positions, and we're going to do everything that we can to provide that $1,500 bonus to all full-time employees in June. We want to do it this year. However, we do have the flexibility of taking the funds that we get from the state and using it to pay a bonus to everybody. So I cannot promise that it'll be $1,500. It may be less, but certainly $1,500 is our goal. All right, so next we will talk about next year's proposed budget. So again, to start the conversation, we are projecting to lose an additional 60 students next year. We are in this budget looking at giving a 3% raise to all staff except for administrators. We are proposing a 2% raise. This budget has very few additional positions. We've got 4 special education elementary aid positions that we've already mentioned to you. We've got 1 special education elementary adaptive teacher, and we've got 1 elementary administrative assistant that we would like to place at Tomahawk. And that's simply based on their enrollment. They're hovering right there at 700, which is by far our largest elementary school.
So all 6 of those are new positions in?
Correct,
Okay.
yes, sir.
All right.
A bright spot in meeting with the county, they have committed to giving us an additional $2 million for this budget. And some of you all have obviously been on the board longer than I've been superintendent. $2 million is the most I can recall them giving us in quite a long time, so we certainly appreciate.
I never remember, I've been almost over 20 years, I've never seen them give us $2 million.
Well, I mean, we're certainly thankful, and I think
great.
they recognize the hard work that we're doing and want to support us, and so we're very thankful. What that $2 million allowed us to do was to give a 3% raise to our teachers, because initially we were going to do 2%, just like that was suggested in the governor's budget. It also allowed us to budget 10% for health insurance increases. Every 10% increase is approximately $1 million. And since we were able to budget that, and we are anticipating those prices to go up, hopefully we'll be able to cover that with this money here and not pass it along to our teachers. So that's huge. That $2 million is going to go a long ways. I am hoping that, as the budget is finalized at the state level, that 2% becomes 3%, and then we give it 3% for everybody. So that's the hope. But right now, if we had to start the school year with this budget, it would be 2% for administrators. Thank you. So in terms of ADM projections, the Department of Education is projecting us to have 7,138 students last year. Our projections have a few more. Based on my experience this year, we're going to go with a lower projection. All right. And then if we have more students than we're anticipating next year, well, okay, that'll be okay. I'd rather have that than not enough. And then you can see what our membership is currently. Okay. In terms of just general information, you can see how we're funded. Our school budget, 67% of that comes from the state, to the tune of approximately $80 million. The county's 26%, at right there at 31.5. And then you can see from the federal government, we get $6 million, 700,000, for a total budget of 119,322, 880. And here's another way of looking at that. You can see again, the majority of our funds come from the state. Thank you. How that money is spent, You can see that the vast majority of it is spent on instruction, which includes our teachers, instructional staff, support staff, and resources. $11 million, the second largest category, goes into operations and maintenance. And then thirdly, we've got pupil transportation. Again, broke it down a little different way. Majority of that goes into instruction by far. When it comes to our school nutrition budget, you can see that we have balanced that. You've got another worksheet in your packet that outlines our school nutrition budget. And you can see the vast majority of that money comes from the federal level. We do anticipate being a CEP county next year. That means all of our schools will be in that program, and all of our students will receive free breakfast and lunch. So that's where the majority of that money comes from. And then you can see it goes back into food service, payroll, maintenance and operations of the school nutrition staff. In terms of a budget timeline, we're hoping that by next weekend, the General Assembly has an approved budget. That would be great. So when we come back to our next meeting, we can say that this is locked down at this or close enough. However, the governor has until April the 13th to act on that budget. We'll come back on the 23rd to give you a final budget. But as you know, that may have to be amended, as the budget changes. And then, of course, the county will adopt their budget on April the 7th. And hopefully that $2 million will still be there. So anyway, you've got a copy of our budget, all the details, all of the changes. I mean, in most categories, you will see especially when it comes to personnel, a 2 or 3% increase. That's from the proposed raise. I'm not sure, you got another, is that it? Okay. If you have any questions, we'll certainly be happy to answer them here tonight to the best of our ability. But you've also got 2 weeks to look over that budget and give us a call if you got any questions.
Did y'all bump up fuel costs?
Yes, sir, we did. Obviously, with the state of the world and the turmoil that we're in now, we put some additional money in fuel. Absolutely.
Any other questions, comments from the board at this time? Mr. Hardy, since you're in the back, thank you to yourself, and if you would pass along that to your board members on the Board of Supervisors for the funding that you've put forth to the school division. Certainly appreciate it, sir.
Very much.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Stanley, for the quick overview. Look that over and circle back to that here in another couple of weeks. Okay, other than the budget, what else do you have, Dr. Stanley? Any other topics to cover?
April 21st, the state's having a special election. We normally have Rustburg Elementary School and that Yellow Branch that are used as polling places because we are anticipating a big turnout. We have asked Kelly Martin at the elections office if she would consider finding alternate locations, and she has. So we were thinking we were going to be asking you tonight to allow Yellow Branch and Rustburg to have a virtual day on April 21st, but because the county's working with us, our kids will be in school on those days, which we're very thankful for. We still encourage everyone to come out and vote. March 23rd, obviously, is our next school board meeting. We'll be looking to finalize our budget. At that meeting, I'm also going to have the architectural firm RRMM. They will be presenting on their findings through their feasibility study of Alta Vista Combined School. And basically what they've done is they have gone into the school, they have talked to school personnel about what the needs are in the building, what the future needs are going to be. And I mean, they've gone into every mechanical room, they have looked under every rock, gone into every corner, and they're going to present what their findings are. and what a potential renovation at Alta Vista Combined School could look like. During that meeting, I'm also going to ask you to bless moving forward with the Alta Vista project.
Bless it.
Bless it. And then we will share that, your desires with the Board of Supervisors and look for their blessing on April 7th.
Okay.
And the last thing I've got for you is on March 21st, we've got the Spring Forum. That will be in Danville. And I think we've got 4 of you signed up to go. If you would like to carpool, I'll have a van available. If you ride with me, I need to be there at 4:30, so I'll be leaving about 3:30. If we let Dr. Hale drive, she could probably leave at 4 o'clock. She drives a lot faster than I do. But just letting you know that I'll call you and see if anybody's available or wants to ride with us in the van, and if not, that's okay too. We're looking forward to it, and that's all I've got for you.
All right. Thank
Can I
you.
ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
The countertops in the computer lab at Whirlpool, did they ever figure out to brace them?
Countertops in the computer lab. So right now, they've got some metal brackets that will go against the wall that support that, but they're still trying to figure out an angle bracket that can come
It would
out
support the whole
to
time?
to the front, and putting those every so often.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
Yeah, we saw that and figured, okay, that's gonna last about 2 seconds.
Yeah, let it keep leaning on it, it's gone.
Okay. Matters from the board. Mr. Maddox.
Thank you. Week of February the 9th through the 13th, the Alta Vista Elementary School students celebrated Virginia Kindness Week by participating in school-wide kindness challenges. I guess this last week. They did Read Across America, recently celebrated Read Across America by participating in a Spirit Week and partnering with local businesses and Alta Vista Combined School Teachers for Tomorrow students who visited classrooms to read with their students and help promote a love of reading. March 31st, they're going to do Career Day with local professionals representing Virginia career clusters will visit AES to speak with students in grades pre-K through 5. Students will learn about different careers and interests, talents, and habits that contribute to the success in the workplace. High school, state meet, Julian Sherlin placed 4th in the 50 freestyle, 6th in the 100 freestyle, which is amazing because we don't have about 8, 9 kids in our swim team. And in the track, Ladarian Farmer placed 5th in the 500-meter hurdles, and the 4x200-meter relay team got 5th, and the 4x400-meter relay team got 8th. So I think we had a good day. That's all I got. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Pearman?
Good evening, everyone. So I have a little bit of a long report here today, but it's a great one. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Hank Fannin. He was the winner of the tractor operation competition through FFA. He has his regional competition coming up on Wednesday, so congrats to him. In middle and high school, we had writing contest to cover the winners there. Hayden Taylor placed first for William Campbell. Zoe Fisher placed second, and Peyton Gore placed third in the short fiction, so they swept that. Karen Campbell placed first, and Corey Swanner placed second in the middle school poetry section. And then in the high school, Emily Wright placed as well in that section. As far as sports, girls basketball was fortunate to be able to make the playoffs this year. They actually hosted a home game in Rappahannock against Rappahannock, which was an exciting game. I got to go there. The student section was crazy. They brought a lot of energy. They did a great job. But they were very respectful. They ended up falling in that game, so they ended their playoff run there. But congratulations to 3 girls and 1 young man who was awarded honorable mention on all-region team. Dalen Burns, she was honorable mention. Anasia Dews was an honorable mention. So as Nikhil Elliott was as well. And then Jordan Wilson made second team all-region in basketball, and Chase Hedrick was second team as well for the boys. In track and field, We recently just had the indoor state track meet. If you haven't heard already, we have a record book holder there. So our Nasia Dews had a career day at the indoor state and track and field event at Liberty University. She placed first in the state in triple jump, first in the 55 meters, first in the 300, and broke a state record. And she placed first in the 500. She wasn't done. She decided to long jump and triple jump for the first time this year and placed third in both of those events. She scored 53 points by herself, and which ranked second in Virginia High School League history in most points scored by a track athlete at the Class 1 or 2 state championships. Not sure about the rest of the classes, but she scored 53 points by herself, more than most teams score in that event. So just totally impressive. Other things we had going on, it looks like that our staff member of the month were two at William Campbell. That was Mr. Owen and Mr. Palmer. Just thank you for your consistent efforts to make sure we're keeping our schools and the grounds clean. We had a March Madness reading challenge throughout March to help celebrate National Reading Month. And then in 6th grade, we had a STEM visit. Jack Wagstaff was there from the National Resource Education Coordinator from at 4-H. So that was a good visit. He taught how watersheds work and how waste impacts pollution and the management of that as well. Last month I reported on the grant that we worked very hard to present, and we actually received that. So we have a $5,000 grant that we'll be getting for our Future Center at William Campbell. And then we have our blood drive coming up in conjunction with the Red Cross on the 25th. And today, FBLA is at their regional competition. Hopefully we got some good reports from that. Haven't heard? Good? Good deal. Can you elaborate?
Give me a second.
Thank you, Mr. Cartwright.
All right, Alea Masters placed first in real estate and first in business management. Co-Sage placed first in banking and financial systems and second in personal finance. Kylie Cooper placed first in personal finance. Seth Halsey placed third in journalism, and Dustin Smith placed second in administration and management.
That is awesome. Great job to all of those FBLA participants at the regional meeting. I was hoping to judge that, and I wouldn't be able to because they couldn't guarantee I could get out of there and get here on time. So I had to decline that. I did that last year. I had a ball. It was excellent. Moving on to Brookdale Elementary, our spring book fair event went great. Every student got a book in the whole school, so that was awesome. On 3rd of March, there was a ukulele concert. I did not get to see that, but I would have loved it. That was for the 4th and 5th grade students, so that's awesome. There's a spring dance coming up on Friday, the 13th, which is oxymoron. The theme is a Giddy Up Gala. I've been trying to convince my wife to be my date. She hasn't committed yet, but I do have my outfit and my boots ready to go if she decides to go with me. We've got parent-teacher conferences on the 26th, and on the 31st, we have our kindergarten and first grade spring musical. And our Brookdale Elementary employee shout out goes to Mrs. Karen Offenbacher. She's been teaching for over 40 years. She's just as passionate now as the day she started. So thank you for your service.
That's a hard act to follow.
Little town, big things.
Can we get a
I like
picture of
it.
you with the dad?
Should be the new slogan.
I will definitely send a picture in our group message. Yeah.
All right, Ms. Vaughn.
All right, well, I want to start by recognizing some great accomplishments from our students. The Brookville Girls 4x2 relay team, Carmen Johnson, Kaylin Tucker, Paris Waller, and Shaylin Coppins finished second at the state meet and set a new school record with a time of 1:47.28, and that is an incredible achievement. The 55-meter dash was also a great race to watch. Rustburg and Brookville finishing first and second in the boys' race, and Kaylin Tucker finishing as runner-up on the girls' side. Congratulations as well to the Rustburg boys team for placing 5th overall at states. And I actually went both days to the state track meet with my kids, and we had a fantastic time, and we cheered on all of our county's athletes. I was yelling for Rustburg too. I also, while I was there, ran into Lance Bingham. He's the head coach at Liberty's track and field. He was one of my old coaches, and he had mentioned that the Rustburg boys were looking really strong out there. So I was like, hey, our Campbell County kids. It was really fun to watch the races and explain to my boys how all of the events worked. Took me back. Also, I have to say I'm proud of Ladarian, and it makes me feel really old because he was one of my kids.
Students,
He was one of my kids.
he's a good kid.
Yes.
You did a good job with him.
Thanks. Last week was Read Across America Spirit Week, and it was great to see students across our schools participating in all the fun activities celebrating reading. A couple of upcoming events to note. The Leesville Road Elementary PTO is hosting a fundraiser at FunQuest on March 27th from 5 to 10 p.m., and parents do need to pre-register for that event. Also, kindergarten registration and pre-K screening will take place on April 22nd, so families should call the schools to schedule their appointments.
All right, thank you. Ms. Parker?
Yes, thank you. Wanted to just say how great our Student Advisory Council meeting was. And some of the students from William Campbell, who's actually their focus was to have more student involvement, which is, they've just been fabulous. I know Mr. Cartwright's been an amazing help there too, to get things off the ground there and improve the look of the school as best he can with his own bare hands. And they mentioned not just FBLA, but getting more kids involved in sports and having more of the students attend the sporting events. And they have, I mean, this is student driven. I'm just so excited to see that they've really helped grow it. The kids are amazing. I love seeing them when we have our meetings. I did want to also mention that the students from all the schools, we discussed a little bit about security and about the, having the metal detectors. And I was pleased with their answers, so just kind of show you where I stand too, is they didn't realize until they talked to their principals what safety they already have in place. So once they learned about what's already in place, they felt much more secure already. Like they weren't as concerned because they didn't know about the ballistic film and they didn't know, the real role of the SRO. They're just, they're there, but we just take for granted that the students and the parents understand that we are a hard target in Campbell County with all the things we already have in place. And they actually even recommended to us that at sporting events first is which is my favorite too, because that's where we're soft and where we don't know who's coming. We know who's coming in our schools for the most part. So I really appreciated the kids' feedback on that, and just went to the Brookville High School Political Science Club field trip to Richmond, which obviously I'm very passionate about. We had a great time, and it's always fun to see which kids stay behind and take pictures of the artwork, which kids stay behind and ask questions about government, and it's just always amazing to see everybody so excited to learn about our legislative process, see how accessible our legislators are, and it was a great day, and always hats off to government teacher Aaron Scott, who has his CDL, which helps us make that field trip happen as he drives the bus so that we don't have to worry about drivers for that field trip. And I think, and actually Alta Vista High School too, the students that are on our advisory council, they also work really hard to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to be involved in their school, and I just think that's amazing. I don't remember that at high school at all, about other students trying to help the other students. We just all went to school, we all played ball, we all, you just did it. And it's just so awesome to see our Campbell County students care about each other. And that's all I have today.
All right, thank you. Mr. Jones?
Oh, y'all are in overload today or tonight, aren't you? First thing I see on the table here is this flyer. Man, you see that you coming to that? College and Career Day. It's one of the better days that I think we have to host 75 businesses for graduating seniors to come and talk to and see what they might like to do. And the only other thing I got is Mr. Bennett from Concord says, sorry he couldn't be here, said we're having parent-teacher conferences and a musical on March 26th. And he says, of course, we got lots of field trips coming up, and we have our fun run in April. If you got a lot of energy and you just want to go out there and run and with no rhyme or reason at all, go to Concord. on that day. Russellburg Middle School, their theater department had Alice in Wonderland Jr. back about a month ago, and Mr. Alder, I thought he did an extraordinary job. It's been a long time since I've been in middle school and seen the huge variation from sixth graders to eighth graders. It's just until you see them there, but did a great job, and it was really a good performance. Certainly appreciate the donations that were given this month. Dr. Vanella, appreciate your presentation. I mean, it's really, really good, and I mean, I think we're beyond sticking our heads in the sand saying, well, we don't need to do anything. I think being proactive is the way we need to lean, forward, and appreciate the information you gave us. And just had a Central Virginia Governor's School meeting last Wednesday. That seemed to go very well. Hired a new teacher there. He's a Lynchburg College, or was it now University of Lynchburg. Hired a math instructor from there. They're very enthusiastic about him. And Dr. Douglas, who's going to take over in July. It was the first meeting I've really heard him do a lot of talking, and he's very, very well versed. And I think Governor School's got a lot to look forward to. And just a little bit of, I guess, congratulations, as I see one of our guys, Tim Holden, is acting superintendent of Amherst County, schools. So hats off to him. Last time I saw him, he was driving the career tech bus for them. Now he's the acting superintendent. So hats off to him. That's all I got, David.
All right. Yeah, I want to thank Dr. McCormick, Dr. Ranella. Thank you both for your presentations this evening, getting the information together and bringing it to us. Appreciate that. At Rustburg High School, as has been alluded to, the track program did really well. Gerald Moses is doing a great job with that program. They participated in the Virginia High School track meet. The boys team finished 5th, and Alex Dunn broke the state record in hurdles on consecutive days and was state champion in 2 events. So congratulations to Alex, outstanding job there. 2 state records. So also, Fine Arts Night was this past Tuesday. They had their annual dodgeball tournament, which is a big deal in Rustburg. I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but they had a great time with that. It raised a lot of money for the SCA and also raised canned food for the Rustburg United Methodist Food Pantry, so a great community effort there as well. And they are hosting a blood drive on Friday the 13th. I think Jason Voorhees is taking the blood. If you have any horror film fanatics at the meeting tonight, but yeah, kind of a strange day for a blood drive there, but that's going on at the Rustburg High School Library. And the middle school held their 3rd quarter family partnership night. Had a great turnout for that. And Mr. Jones, I can't believe you didn't make note of the Rustburg Middle School agricultural student. They're gearing up for their plant sale in the spring, which is always a big event, so get prepared for that. That's coming. I don't have a date yet for that, but it's coming up soon. So that is all I have for tonight. And now we need to adjourn to a closed meeting. And I need a motion to adjourn to a closed meeting.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn for our closed session.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we convene in closed meeting for discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose, or for the disposition of publicly held real property where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body.
Second.
A motion, and we have a second. So we'll convene to closed session and take a quick 5-minute break. Back in
Vote on
open
it?
session.
Got to vote.
Got to vote.
Yep. So, somebody want to pose a motion
You
on
got it.
what's going to happen next by Mr. Stanley?
No, you need to do number 10 first.
I'm sorry.
You gotta do number 10
Certified
first.
closed session.
Certify the closed
Oh,
session.
But you got
Okay.
to vote first.
You got to vote to go into, back in regular session.
Say all those in favor, just do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all those in favor go back in open session, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Now I ask for a motion certifying that, to the best of each member's knowledge, that during our closed meeting, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law, and only such public business matters were identified in the motion convening to the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the school board.
So moved.
Second.
Take a pick.
I'm
Mr.
hungry. I'm
Jones,
ready
you
to
made
go
a
home.
motion. Mr. Maddox, you seconded. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed? Okay. Now,
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
well, do we need
Oh,
a
we had to make
statement?
a, oh, you have to.
Yeah, we need to
say
make a statement on
something
what-
about closed session.
We're going to direct Dr. Stanley to do first.
Yeah, make it clear.
Barry, you going to make the statement?
Oh,
I mean, we're not deciding nothing.
It doesn't
No.
require anything.
I didn't think.
Yeah, we didn't really,
he just gave
Doesn't
you
require
instructions to
any
get more information.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
All right, then motion to adjourn.
Already had a
Second.
motion and a second.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you all.
And do you know a
Don't you
good
want to have a house down there for Brookdale Elementary School? Don't you want to have a house down there for Brookdale?
No, I wanted that little store though.